Hey guys, Hayden here with a quick tutorial on properly balancing your dance mix or edit. Just an FYI for those watching, these tutorials are catered and geared towards dancers to help them make their own dance mix or edit. So we're not going to get too comprehensive or into detail with technical things. We're just going to show you quickly how to get done what you need done. So today we're going to show you how to properly balance your mix in GarageBand. So let's get right to it. Here I have GarageBand open and I've imported 2 songs. I have cut these songs to my liking and added fades to both cuts here. I've also thrown in a little sound effect of an explosion here to smoothly transition from one song to the next. So occasionally we'll have a song that we've imported that's a little quieter in volume than another song. In this case, song number 2 is quieter than song number 1. I've done this intentionally just for training purposes. So the way we can fix this is by boosting the volume of this track. Now, just beware. I taught you earlier that to add a fade to your song, you have to open this automation here and manually adjust this. Now, this is now kind of printed onto this track. So no matter how you adjust this, if I were to play this back, this is just going to readjust itself to be 0 dB because we've written on this little automation track that that's what we want the volume to be at this point in the song. So let's just show you that. So if I have this volume down, let's say, it's too loud and I want to drop it down a bunch, and then I play this back, you'll see that it automatically jumped up back to 0 dB. So the way we actually have to do this is by grabbing our automation here and saying, okay, at this point, we actually want it to fade in, but then be louder, 6 dB or so. So when we change the volume of a song like that, we don't visually see the waveform. I'm going to click A here to get back into our view. We don't visually see the waveform adapt and grow and get bigger like this one is up here. That's one of the downsides to GarageBand. So you really have to use your ears and critically listen to these to make sure they sound good, and also watch your meter. So now that we've boosted this volume here, we can kind of watch this volume as in compared to this volume on our track meters as well as our master meter up here and see that they're bouncing around the same place. So let's listen back and see how it sounds. So that looks pretty good. They're about the same volume. One last final trick I like to do when I'm balancing my mix is add a limiter to any track that I change or add volume to, so I don't accidentally push it above our 0 dB threshold, which is basically the max volume that we want our songs to be. And the way that we do this in GarageBand, it's a little tricky to do. What we do is select the track. We're going to open our smart editor here. It's going to pop that open. And then we're going to come down here. We're going to scroll down on this little bar. We're going to add a plugin. We're going to scroll down again. We're going to click this little box here and then go to, mine is here in my recents because I use it a lot. But if you go down to dynamics, and then you'll see a limiter there. So if I turn that on, now I have a limiter on my track, and this is going to keep the volume from exceeding 0 dB and clipping or distorting and or having issues. So that's just one little trick to do. Anytime you adjust a volume, add a limiter to your track. And one last thing, if it's still not loud enough, because GarageBand does limit how much we can increase the volume on the track here, if it's still not loud enough, you can use this limiter to increase your gain. So I can actually boost this up and say, I wanted another 3 or 4 dB louder, and then it will push it a little bit higher as well, and it won't exceed the output level of 0 dB, if that makes sense. So you can make your track louder, but it'll still keep it at 0 dB. So it's a little confusing, but essentially that's how you get an extra little boost of volume if you need it without getting too much distortion or clipping with this limiter working for you. So that's essentially how that works. And just like that, our mix is now balanced. I'm actually going to turn that back down because I don't need that extra bump. So just to recap, if any of your songs or sound effects are too quiet, give them a boost until they match the other parts of your mix. Use the master meter and these track meters for a guide. And if you've added fades, make sure that you adjust it here rather than just moving this here, because otherwise it will not stay where you move this little volume fader. It'll bounce back to whatever it's reading here in this automation panel. So add a limiter to the tracks you've adjusted to make sure they don't exceed that 0 dB threshold, and distort. And you can also bump the volume with that if needed. So hopefully this video was helpful. If so, please give the video a like and subscribe to our channel. If you have any questions about making mixes or edits for your dance, you can contact me directly or just head over to dancecuts.com/contact. And just for those curious, here is Dance Cuts. This is our in-house music editor that we made for dancers. Dance Cuts automatically adjusts volumes and adds limiters to the songs that are imported, so you don't have to worry about balancing your mix. Dance Cuts does everything for you in the background. This is a lot easier than other editors because we did make this with the dancer in mind. It is free, so be sure to check that out. You can do that by heading over to dancecuts.com and finding our downloads page. We also have loads of tutorials to help you quickly learn Dance Cuts, with more tutorials being made regularly, so be on the lookout for those, and we will see you in the next one.